The generation Android, that's how they are called, right? You see, when we destroy the values of our community, we allow imperialism to tamper with our very innermost culture, values that permit us to be able to live from the point of moralist. We become immoral. Africa is one of those continents that was supposed to be at the forefront when it comes to moral. I remember in 1835, Sir Macaulay made a pronouncement in front of the parliament in the UK when he presented these strong words. Let me repeat them to you. He said, I've gone all around that nation. He was talking of Africa as a whole, and I've not seen anyone poor. Secondly, he says they have very strong moral values and a very strong educational system. He used the word traditional educational system. And he said the reason why this educational system is this strong is because of the values, the spirituality of the people. So the spirituality of the people permits them to have strong moral values and to have an educational system that is holistic, that teaches them. It teaches them both spiritually, it teaches them physically. So it is a holistic educational system that permits them to learn and know themselves. But look at it. Look at it. The educational system we have today is an educational system that focuses on struggling to increase your brain, but has no power to increase your spiritual person. It is not holistic. It focuses on the outer and abandons the real thing. Self. Once somebody is educated to know who he is, such an individual becomes very moral and strong. No doubt why today Biden is threatening African nations to adopt the LGBT homosexual laws and whatsoever. That is to prove to you how imperialists are struggling to completely destroy Africa. I want to blame the issue of that child not only on the Europeans, but onto our own parents, whom have allowed their children to be trained by schools. Education begins at home. Morality is something that is inculcated at home. Strong moral values in a community are supposed to be inculcated at home. And that is why I'll tell you this. There is a philosophy we hold as Pan-Africanists in Africa. It's called Ubuntu. Ubuntu means I am because you are, and you are because I am. Implying that as an African, there is this proverb which I'll use to support it. It says, when you give birth to a child, it is your child when it's still in your womb. But it takes a village to raise a child. So the moment a child leaves your womb, it is the community's child. And so the values that those children are received begins from home and the community. And when that is not done, what do you expect? An immoral child, a child that is wayward, becomes a result. Schools were not actually created to give only head knowledge. Schools were created to help bring out from within you who you are and what you possess. That is why the word education comes from the word educos, which actually means to bring out of you. So it is created to pull out from within you that which you possess in you. implying that education is meant for one purpose: self-realization. And you can't attain self-realization when they are feeding your head and preparing you to have a job. Because that is a system of education we have today, a system of education that prepares the heads of people and not their person. And once their heads are prepared, what do you expect at the end of the day? They will go out there. A teacher does not see. In our days, students will look at teachers like gods.
Your parents will go and report you to school.
My God.
And they will trash you in school. But this time is a reverse.
First of all, there are laws that have been adopted, which were imposed by Europeans, that you are not supposed to beat a child in school. That is not what was in our days. In our days, you will be beaten in front of the school. There was a cane that was used. You always see a teacher with a cane in his hand. But today, it is different. We are raising vanguards. I
think we've seen there was a case in West Region where a law enforcement officer went to school and beat up the teacher because the teacher
got her child beaten.
Yes.
That is based on the laws which we have adopted from Europe, from America. Imperialism is destroying our culture, is destroying our environment. And we are struggling to copy a people who do not have any direction. Europeans as a whole do not have morals. They are a people that they are barbaric from within. And I'm shocked to see that Africans are copying their useless and dirty laws and implementing in Africa. Even in the Bible says you should not spare the rod lest you spoil the child, implying that you have to whip the child when the child goes wrong. You have to correct the child. But such children, there's another one might be forgotten, where a child removed a gun.
Yes, I think a child removed a gun this week. That was in Nigeria.
Yes.
Removed a gun to shoot.
So question.
The teacher merely asked her to cut off the tinted hair which she had.
How did she have a gun? Europe has destroyed Africa. America is destroying Africa. She has a right to remove a gun. This one will beat God. When we used to hear of Surveillance General, or what we call a discipline master, you look for a place to disappear, because the way he will trash you. But I'm shocked that a young man have the boldness to stumble on a disciplinary master. That is even better. What about the one in Yaoundé that killed a teacher? Those are the things that we must get to start thinking.
And teachers in Douala keep facing threats
every day
from the pupils and the students they are teaching.
That is where I think that Africa needs to come back to its senses. Our leaders need to start thinking on how to withdraw from most of these European treaties and American treaties that they entered, which permits them to become slaves forever.
Okay.
And so that we can be able to rebuild from the base. Okay. Because Africa has what it takes to become the best of continents in the world. When it comes to moral values, we have the best of moral values. I was shocked when I saw a young girl posting on Facebook, an African and a Cameroonian, claiming that two homosexuals or whatsoever, LGBT, had been arrested and locked up in Nube. If I am concerned with justice, until one of them get pregnant, they are supposed to remain there in prison.